What the fuck is good,
Whoa.
everybody? My name is Matt Brown, and I am the host of the Productive Conversations podcast. It is the 2nd of May, 2025. And yeah, we're here. It is May. It is May. Not gonna be May. It is May. And let's kick off a great month of solid, productive conversations content across the world of sports, news, entertainment, and culture by presenting you another trending topics talk. This is the Tweet Cab. And before we begin our discussion about what was trending in the last week of April, first days of May, I just remind you to like and subscribe to the Productive Conversations podcast on all podcasting platforms and YouTube. And don't forget to check out exclusive content regarding the show across all social media, platforms. We're on Instagram at Productive Conversations Podcast, X and Twitter at Pod. We're on TikTok at Productive Conversations, and Facebook at Productive Conversations. And as always, I want to let you know that we are presented and sponsored by the great Magic Mind. And Magic Mind is your go-to for the number one growing elixir company in the world. And what does that mean exactly? Well, with Magic Mind, you could get the great, absolutely great green tea shots that will enhance your mind, focus, and attitude. You could also get the you could also get the sleep aid shots as well. Who needs melatonin when you got Magic Mind?
That's right.
And you can get Magic Mind with our exclusive deal by going to magicmind.com/PCMay. That's magicmind.com/PCMay for 48% off your first subscription or 20% off your first one-time purchase. All right, everybody. So as we're about to begin May, let's hope that it's going to be a great month. So with me to kick everything off, it's Ryan, Allison, and Jose. Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello. Hey, sometimes the world is a better place because you are here to join us. Sometimes what the fuck is good? That's right. It's May.
It's
Exactly
fucking
right.
May.
I appreciate the enthusiasm. So let us kick off this month and let's get into what we do best and talk about what's trending in the world and having a productive conversation about it. So we end the month of April with a nonsense story with the biggest nonsense couple in the world right now in Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson, and we begin this month with continued nonsense. Last Sunday they were on CBS Sunday Morning, and if you weren't aware, Bill Belichick went to go on to promote his book. I don't even know what it is at this point because that's not focusing on the book. The world is focusing on the disastrous interview between CBS News and Bill Belichick on CBS Sunday Morning, where Jordan Hudson allegedly came in and disrupted the interview. We saw a clip of her shutting down a question by Tony DeCopel. That's his name, right? Tony DeCopel, who asked them about where they met. Despite the story being out there, she said, "We're not going to talk about that," leading to people making up rumors or making up assumptions, I should say, that
Assumptions, yeah.
they are, an arranged relationship, whether a sugar baby or a call girl or all of that, depending on your mood. So we have that going on. And ever since that story, it's been nothing but more things found out about Jordan Hudson. People really digging deep on her story. We had Bill Belichick make a statement trying to say that CBS manipulated the footage. Then CBS themselves actually released a statement. CBS PR said that there was nothing edited or changed. We showed you what we shot. And I'm
hmm
sure if they really wanted to, they could show the footage of Jordan Hudson, who allegedly ran out of the interview 30 minutes during the interview. They did it during the presidential election with Kamala Harris. You
hmm
know, with all due respect, that kind of hurt her character and definitely her campaign. And I'm sure Jordan Hudson wouldn't want that footage either of unprofessionalism. And then we continue to see more instances of unprofessionalism, like Hard Knocks, the famous Hard Knocks, was going to be going to the college football realm. Every year, Hard Knocks follows a team in season or during training camp in the NFL. and they were going to do the college football version of that with the University of North Carolina, which Bill Belichick will be coaching this year, September 1st. TCU, that's the first game that he will be coaching for now. And
Yeah, we'll see.
allegedly she shot that down. She literally was a reason for the entire production to get canceled. There are rumors that she said she wasn't going to be featured enough and that she was instrumental in pulling the plug on Hard Knocks. There are more people finding out that she allegedly has $8 million in real estate with 3 different properties, with her very rich
Boyfriend,
boyfriend, as I
or
say,
what, a partner.
in quotations, boyfriend, partner. So that's a little strange. And yeah, there's allegedly UNC's not on board with this. They're feeling uncomfortable. Bill Belichick's daughter-in-law commented on a discussion about them, Julian Edelman and Rob Gronkowski, as they have a podcast, and she said her as his publicist should not act so unprofessional. She got some love, and even to the point where there's the Kirk Minihan show on Barstool, where he spoke with Bill Belichick's general manager at the University of North Carolina. First of all, that's enough in a weird story because there's so much NIL money that they actually have to make they actually have to have general manager positions in college football. But anyways, when asked about what the hell's going on and her influence within UNC and their upcoming season, well, this is what happened.
Hello?
Mike, it's Kirk Minahan from Barstool Sports. Mike, it's Kirk Minahan, Barstool Sports. How are you?
Minahan.
I'm good.
Good.
What's up, Kirk?
We're live to tape. We have questions. We're trying to figure out. We've been talking about it. We talked about Portnoy a minute ago. Can you explain to us what this woman's role is with UNC? We're just confused.
Actually, I'm in a meeting right now going over recruiting, so that's kind of what my focus is right now. So.
How significant a role does she have with the recruiting at this point? Is she the lead recruiter or no?
I'm in recruiting,
yeah,
and I'm working on that. So that's about it, Kirk. Thanks.
All right, Mike, hang in there. Good to talk to you.
Jeez. I'm so tired of this story, man. I am very critical of the relationship on air and off air. And yeah, I feel Bill Belichick is really hurting his legacy, as if he cares.
Doing something.
But yeah, whether you believe he's whipping her, she's whipping him, whether you're a supporter of this relationship, I definitely want to hear from you. And yeah, guys, it's just so strange, man. It's just icky, and yeah, and people really, and now that the New York Post is even give them a target to find out dirt about her, people they're gonna find us stuff out. I think so. A lot of these stories come from them. So yeah, guys, Ryan, tell me what you're thinking at this point now. 5 days later, this story is still hot.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think what I said is still true. Nikki Glazer tried to come to this woman's defense with her.
Yeah, exactly.
She's acting as his publicist, and this is something publicists do. And I mean, I would say that this is not something that publicists do. Again,
you shouldn't even know the publicist's name.
Correct. Making yourself the story is not what a publicist does. Yes, they will turn off an interview if an interview is going poorly. That's true. But they don't do it like, and honestly, they probably do it that exact way. They say, no, we're not talking about this. And then they get up and the interview is over. But they're not usually dating the guy or girl who's on there, at least not openly. And so it's not a story in of itself that they shut down an interview. And then obviously you can't ignore the age gap. That's a huge thing that this 24-year-old is determining what the 73-year-old is or is not doing in his professional life at this point, not just personal life, professional life. And I think that she thought, again, everyone's saying, was he paying for her? Who knows? Probably. I don't know. And I actually, again, I don't care. I really don't, because I don't think that that's what's currently still happening. Because can I be honest? The headache of her right now is not worth whatever it's also costing him monetarily to do this. So I don't believe that this is just, the best he's ever had, and that's why he's keeping her around. I think that would be an insane take. That's clearly not the case. I think whatever their circumstances for meeting were, they're in it together now. Not monetarily in some degrees, but like he's not paying her to sleep with him, to live in his home, to manage his career. They're clearly in this together now, and she thinks that she can play at this high level, and she's acquired this real big client that would have been hard for anyone to acquire, and she did it through backhanded means, we'll say. Not everybody had the opportunity to try and, get that close with Belichick. And I think that she's not good at this. I think she's proving to be bad at this. And you heard in that interview you played that the coach, or the team, rather, the GM and the team, knows that this is all a joke, knows that she is a joke. And at the moment, I think it's fine because they haven't played any football yet. And Belichick, at the end of the day, is not only a football coach, he's a legendary football coach. Legendary. If you're UNC, you're not a strong team in your conference. You roll the dice with a legendary football coach. Doesn't matter who they're dating or what they did or did not say on CBS. If they don't win football games, if their program is stuck where it was before, all they have now is bad publicity plus a losing record, whereas before they just had a losing record. Actually, they may have not had a losing record this year. I think they did, though. Then that's going to end up being a real problem, I think, for Belichick in terms of both his legacy and also his prospects of a career at UNC.
I mean, yeah, it's a joke. It really is. And
Well, I
it's
think
just
she's
silly.
a joke.
It's silly.
But did we
It's
ever
silly.
think they might actually be in love?
No.
Well,
Like,
no. So I'm saying
that thought's never crossed your mind. It's all been about the monetary.
No, of course not. Hell no.
No, I mean, I'm saying now that their monetary is not. I mean, think about this, Matt. Seriously, this has got nothing but bad press for Belichick. Nothing. What does he get out of this?
That's
Still
what
the
I'm
book
same.
sales?
I don't even think that. He just gets,
More
the
book sales.
the intimacy. I
But
doubt
he
people
could pay
care
someone
about
else for intimacy, Matt. I mean, plenty of people will do intimacy for money. That's what I mean. If she's a problem, I'm talking about her, not having a call girl or whatever. I'm saying if Jordan
just
Hudson
like when
or
other
whatever
people
is
have a
problem,
hard time breaking up with somebody.
right?
They
Because
like
they
that
care
comfort.
about them. They care about them, Matt. That's what I'm trying to say to you. It's clear that he cares for her in some capacity. Does she care for him beyond the money? I have absolutely no idea.
I
But
it's called
personally
being
think
lit.
that they care about each other, and I only say that because
she might. I don't know.
I've watched them on like red carpet events and stuff like that, and like I know a lot of
Red
it is
carpet.
for show, like whatever, but it's just
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like I've seen them wearing like his
Mhm.
rings together, like doing different stuff.
Again.
Oh no.
Again, I think he cares for her, whether
Of
they
course,
started
if I'm a 73-year-old
monetarily or not.
lonely ass man, I too would probably want.
But if he's
well,
as
no,
big
because
of
I'm
like a
moral.
goat and a
Anybody,
legend as you say, couldn't he really get anybody he wanted?
Yes, correct.
No,
That's
he
why
can't. No, he can't. Money can't
Oh,
get.
yeah,
You can buy everything now.
Matt's
Not
on his
for the
hand.
reasons you think of true love and happiness.
You
No,
lie like a rug.
just like Jose's famous line. If he worked at Home Depot, she
But
would
he
have
doesn't,
nothing
so
to
that's
do.
ridiculous.
No, that is no. What do you mean it is?
Because that
Because
doesn't
that's not
affect
No,
him.
he only
For
likes her
him.
because he's rich.
No, she only likes him because he's rich. I'm
Because
he's
agreeing
rich.
with that.
Right.
And
He likes
exactly.
her.
That's what I'm saying.
He likes her. I'm telling you.
That's
as
what
a
I'm
fact, he
saying. That's
likes
why I
her.
don't think it's true love.
Well, I mean, he could truly be in love with her. I'm saying.
Exactly.
I don't
That's
know what
called-
her
that's called the
motives
whip.
are.
That's
Yeah, I
called the
don't
whip.
know what her motives
Yeah,
are.
her,
But
I don't
she
think
does
they're-
seem to be into money.
Yeah,
Except
I think
within,
she cares
was it
about
2
the
weeks?
money. The
Within
money.
2 weeks, she built a portfolio of like $9 million in real estate.
Exactly.
They were not together very long by the time she bought all those houses.
Exactly. That's why I
think
don't
it's
think
clear,
this
at
is
least
a
at
beautiful
first,
love story.
yeah, at
I
least
don't think
at
there's
first,
such
it's
thing as a
clear.
beautiful love story between people with humongous age gaps. I just
Well,
don't.
yeah,
I'm
I know.
sorry.
Matt,
You
so that's
don't
the thing.
think it would
Matt
be-
doesn't
you
like the
don't
age
think it
gap,
would be
and we're not going to
difficult
get past
coming
that.
in? Like, you don't think it would be difficult coming into a relationship? I don't know her history beyond like the relationship, but you're telling me coming into a relationship being just a 24-year-old, like, yeah, you're dating a guy with a lot of money, but maybe if it is a real relationship, to bring something to the table. So maybe investing in that real estate and buying those houses was her way of just trying to like help build the relationship up.
No,
have him-
no.
It seems like it's in her name.
I'm
no.
saying it could
the
be.
the reporting seems
Yeah.
to indicate it's her.
1.50 chance
I'm
that she
playing
is
devil's
using all
advocate.
his money.
I'm gonna play
There's a
devil's advocate.
1.5. Yeah, and I
I'm
say
not
there's a
rolling over and
1.5
saying
chance.
it's
No, and I don't think you should,
or
Allison, because like I
whatever,
said,
so-
I think half of the group is actually enamored with the other half, meaning I think it's for sure Belichick, even despite all this hardship that it's giving him with the press, is committed to this particular person, not just a young person, not just any call girl. He likes this person. He likes Jordan.
Of
I think
course.
that is a fact. So I would say half the relationship is real, for sure. And I mean, I think
Wait,
if
somebody
betting-
likes their crush, is that a relationship though?
No, but usually a crush is not.
That's why
then
they say
dating you.
arrangement.
I also don't
Not a
think
relationship,
she would
it's
be
an
doing,
arrangement. It's
I don't think she
icy.
would be taking on major roles in the relationship if she didn't truly care. Like she could just be literally a girlfriend.
So I was thinking that too.
and
It's
make
like
money. Who cares?
I
No,
was
she
gonna
made
say-
too much.
Like,
She
being a
made too much PR.
manager.
She made too much. She
what,
put
so
herself
that was
too much
my
into
thought
this.
as well, Allison, actually, was if she had wanted to just take his money and that's it, she could let some other manager or agent continue to promote his career
Mhm.
and just keep taking his money.
Exactly.
Now, again, that doesn't mean she cares about him. She could see him as a way to herself become this, publicist in Hollywood, this management tycoon, and we'll see how it goes. Again, she's historically, I would say, bad at it, but that might be what her thought process was by getting involved on the business side of things.
I just
Might
feel
also,
like
but
having
it might
one
also
major-
be that she sees somehow she sees something akin to a longer future with the 73-year-old man and wants to be a part of his career. That's technically also plausible. I'm not saying it's not. I think it's as plausible as the idea that she wants to become like an Uber manager and is using him as her first client. But I think whether she's doing it maliciously or not, she's really bad at it, and she should stop. She should stop being his manager because she's not very good at it.
I still think it's true love.
You guys are
Not a
fucking.
very good manager.
Which could be, I mean, even if it is though, she could still not be his manager. That's what I mean. My main thing is she has to get out of the spotlight, stop being a part of the story, and stop being a part of his public persona. That's what I'm saying. Whatever her reasoning is, it's not working for her. It's not working for him. And so she's got to make an adjustment, be it, if it's not true love, then she's got to leave. If somehow it is true love, then she's got to take a step back and realize that she's doing more harm than good to the person that she loves in terms of their career. Because again, a bad season is going to be really bad for Belichick at UNC because they're willing to put up with this for a legendary coach that gets them wins and helps them recruit. If he's not helping him recruit, or God forbid, if she's actually part of the recruiting process, and then they lose, it's over. They're not honoring anything.
I don't think she's a part of the recruiting process. I don't think she has her hand that far in.
I mean, we saw her at practice.
With high heels and everything.
Yeah, she's at practice.
That
What
doesn't
were you saying,
necessarily
Jose?
mean anything.
I know it doesn't. I'm saying, but it's not like, you know what I mean?
Do
Like
you guys
You
not-
don't go to
there's
high
reason
heels
worry.
on the football field.
Do you guys not think that this is all like a publicity?
No.
Like
I
he's
don't.
selling a book.
No, I don't.
And not an
You
interesting
realize- you
book
guys-
either.
I didn't
No one's
even
gonna.
know she was
No
selling
one's
a book.
gonna read the
This
book.
is for listen, people are gonna read the fucking book.
No,
People
they're
are
people
not.
will-
not. They
I
are
mean,
not
some
gonna
people
read
will.
the book. Yeah,
Nobody's
Nobody's
so
gonna-
fine.
Hardcore
okay, let me
football
ask you a que-
fans.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Buy the book, Jose. It's showing
if the
pictures.
story, okay, hold on. If the story is bullshit never happened, can we agree that nobody will buy the book, right? Now
There's-
that the story is out there and it's all over the place, doesn't it not entice more people to
mean,
get the book?
The book is a self-help book. Nobody
Doesn't
cares
matter.
about that.
No, it
No
doesn't
one's gonna
matter.
buy the book. The book.
Sorta.
The book doesn't
It's just
isn't
about
worth
his
the
life.
controversy.
It's just about
the
his
book's,
life
The
and
book's
stuff,
not worth
yeah.
the controversy.
Like the
it's
tips that made him
listen,
successful is what
it's
the
the
book's
same
about.
thing like fucking Will Smith's wife. She put out that bullshit that she cheated on him by fucking the other.
But that's
them
not the
dudes.
info we're
Why
getting
the-
from it. We're
That's
getting.
the same bullshit.
I would say though, Jose, the difference would be the person that we're talking about. Jada Pinkett Smith deciding to get into salacious details to sell a book, frankly, makes sense. Bill Belichick, we saw the email last episode. The dude was like, does not want to even do the book. He wanted to write a book, put it on shelves, and whatever happened, happened. And he was forced into doing the CBS nonsense.
This chick wants the money, so she's
and
doing a great
so
job.
I'm saying, if you want, again,
I don't think this will
I mean,
help sales.
I'm not going Lady Macbeth on it. I'm just going to offer a worldview where Jose is right, while also Bill Belichick is not lying in that email that we read about how much he hates doing all of this. Is she knew that controversy could create cash, and so she jumped in with the "we're not answering that" and stormed out just so CBS would cover those things to help sell the book. Now, I can't imagine Belichick would appreciate that as a person. He doesn't seem like the person who would appreciate that sort of thing, but maybe. But he seemed like he didn't want to do any publicity at all. So the idea that not only did he actually want to do publicity, he wanted to have a PR stunt in the middle of his CBS Good Morning interview, I think is far-fetched personally. But yes, I guess it's technically plausible.
He did an interview with a hole in his shirt.
Yeah, that's kind of why I think it wasn't on purpose.
Yeah, I don't think he's interesting enough to sell books.
Again,
if you gonna buy the book, Jose?
But Matt, that's not really.
We could do a book club on it.
Oh yeah, no, but again, we're not really talking about whether or not anyone buys the book. We're talking about whether they were doing it to sell the book. Whether someone buys it.
I'm just saying though. Are you interested in buying the book, Jose? After this,
listen,
so you can learn how to do a cross route.
I give two. Listen, being real honest, the only reason why I know this story is because we do this podcast. Other than that, I give two shits about who he's fucking and how many times he does it or what she does to him. Give two shits.
I care about the idea. Yeah,
oh,
sorry.
Go ahead, Ryan.
No,
go ahead.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
All I was going to say is, like, I don't necessarily care that they're together either. I know that, like I said, that's the difference. That is Matt's biggest hang-up, and I do know that. And it's not just Matt. There's plenty of people who just, the fact that they are so far apart in age will make nothing.
I'm going to sleep well, and I don't think
not be as big of a story.
No, I know you're sleeping well.
I know,
I'm
just saying in general. But yeah, I do think it's gross.
If roles were reversed, this would not be as big of a story as it is right now.
I don't. Maybe, but I would argue. Still, yes, it's easier to victim.
I would
easier to
villainize
the
young.
I
would be
him on the ass, giving him high fives down the hallway. You would be like, "Yeah, bro, like you bagged that."
No, not a 22-year-old or 75-year-old girl.
Like, no,
I don't think
not a 22-year-old dude.
You would say opposite.
73-year-old woman.
No.
I don't think. I think
that might be true love if you want to put up with that.
No, I think Matt is probably genuine in that he would find that equally as disgusting.
Yeah, exactly.
Bugging.
Again, I'm not saying I agree. I'm saying I think Matt would also find that bad.
You might have a better chance of actual love if you go to.
Well, I don't know why that would be a better chance of actual love, actually. But anyway,
you know what I'm saying.
No, that part I don't. I don't know why it's more like love if it's a guy and an older woman.
Jose, can you explain it better? I might not be.
And don't be misogynistic.
He's with us, dude. I don't know how one could be more likely to be true love than the other.
Jose,
I would, if I was Bill Belichick, I'd be smashing them hoes 24/7.
No, we know, Jose. We know.
Jose, we already know that.
Yeah, that wasn't new. That's hope that's not in the book. Jose.
Would you date? This might be the wrong person to ask this, but I'll ask it anyway. Would you, for the rest of your life, you can't do anything? 50-year age difference. Would you be in a relationship with a woman 50 years older than you?
Assuming you are in love and attracted to that person.
Yes, age is nothing but a number. Like, what the fuck? Who gives a shit? It's not. Listen,
like an 80-year-old woman.
Listen, if there was,
that would be
if I'm at my age and this bitch is 80 years old right now, she's smoking hot and she's got big titties, I'll smash her right in front of you. I mean, Matt,
well, don't do us any favors, Jose. That's totally up. You can do that.
That's your homework. That's your podcast homework.
At the end of the day, Matt, it shouldn't matter to you. I don't care what you think about my relationship. It's my business and who I like, even if I don't.
You're 1,000% right on that, but they are letting us know it's their business. They're bringing us into their business.
But you're the one that's caring. They can bring it in my face.
There's a difference between caring and making a decision on something. Do I care like I care about the Knicks in this game?
It sounds like if you have emotional.
It's not rent free. It's not emotional. I'm making a take. That's what in any industry you have to understand. I'm making a take. I don't care. I'm not going to think about this except for content purposes.
Sure. But my point was, before we got into that, was that I think there's a genuine concern because when you do have that age gap and you do have an older guy, I mean, we saw how he rolled up to that interview. As Jose pointed out, he had holes in his shirt. He was not, frankly, particularly articulate during the interview. It wasn't until the controversy happened that anyone even probably cared. And you got to worry. Someone who he's recently met's got $9 million of property that he just bought her. Like, if you're his family, you got to be a little bit concerned. And if you're a fan of his, I think you have to be like, okay, like,
Nah, we
I'm
have
fine.
But what about for the people who believe they're truly in love? You support this?
Well, no, you can still say I hope that things are okay. Like, I'm happy for him if he's happy, but is there some when there's that much money involved and somebody is younger and clearly now making decisions, right? That's the other thing. Like, that's the biggest part of this to me, is that yes, there's an age gap. Yes, they're sleeping together or dating or whatever, but the fact of the matter is there's a rich person who is older and alone, and a younger person who they just recently met is now making career and financial decisions on their behalf. That's quite fast. And if it were my mom, right, I would have concerns. Not because I didn't think it was right for a younger person. That I don't care about. I don't care about that. You know what I mean? Like, my mom could absolutely have a younger partner if she chose to have one now, right? My thing would be is if younger partner comes in and suddenly, you know, they've got a beach house and they're making decisions about, well, actually, no, we're going to go back to work. We're going to dip into the retirement fund. Like, when those things happen, that's when, as a family member, you got to say, well, wait a second. What is this? Like, why are you a part of these conversations? What have you been talking about? What is your thought process? How are we getting to where we are? Is it you're actually, you see each other long term and you're making a real plan? Let's hear it. Is it you see somebody who's lonely with a lot of money? That's not okay with me. So that's where I'm with it. That's the only place I am with it. And it's why I think if she cares about him, she should step away from the publicist role, because that's a clear sign that she's there for him. She's not there for her career. And I think that would go a long way if she stops again. Because right now, as his publicist, she's making career decisions for him. The success of failure of this book can truthfully be attributed in some part, not the most part, but in some part, to what her actions are, because she's publicist and she's doing the pitch for why people should buy the book. She's a part of this process. And so if she cared about him, and she may, then I would say my suggestion would be, especially since she's not that good at this, to just step back, do something else. You can find other things to do to be involved. I'm sure he's got charitable work. I'm sure he's got other side projects that he wants to do. Like, again, he wrote a book nobody knew about. I'm sure he's got other side projects. But just step away from the football, because that's the moneymaker, and step away, in this particular case, from the book, because that's where the controversy is. You step away from those two things. You do a different thing. You find another brand deal. You get him another TV show, whatever. There's things you can do without being his full-on publicist for his whole career, because that, to me, that to me is less about, oh, this is true love, and more about, okay, she sees a client here and she's got this big client that she's trying to push to the moon. And if I'm, but that's when you get into the morally gray area of she's also living with and involved with this person while being the client. This person is alone. This person has a lot of money and isn't historically known for being a strong, willed individual off of the gridiron. So I don't know. That's where my concern would be. If I was like a family member or a friend, be like, all right, well, why are we doing? Like, what's the logic behind these decisions? Like, explain it to me.
Don't meet your honey where you make your money.
I think if he was an old man with dementia, I would be more concerned. But he's literally a full adult man who's like capable of making his own decisions.
Well, we don't technically know that, but yeah.
But we don't technically know that she's the one, like, necessarily. He could be asking her to call certain shots. We don't know.
Sure. Right. And that's what I'm saying. So if I'm son-in-law or daughter-in-law or whoever, I'm saying, like, yeah, what's the deal here? Because again, the daughter-in-law just came out with concerns. Like, she just talked about concerns. And so I'm like, all right, if your daughter-in-law is not clued in, if your son, by extension, is not clued in to what's going on, and you are asking for these things to be done, then just say, like, yo, no. Like, Jordan's got this. I'm trusting her with this book thing. I don't want to think about it. She's on the book. I'm trying to get my team ready for college football kickoff. If that's the plan, then you can disagree with the plan. You can wonder what Jordan is doing. Why is she not doing better? That's a fair thing to wonder, but that's a separate conversation. My point is, like, if you are seeing these things happen and you've got concerns, you really need to go out and say, how much of this are you aware of? How much of this is your idea? How much of this is her idea that you're just agreeing to? Like, what is going on? And you shouldn't feel ashamed to say that to an older parent. And an older parent shouldn't feel ashamed to then defend what they're doing. Say, yeah, no, this is the plan. If you got a plan, then it's no one else's business. I'm with Jose on that. If you got a good plan, and then whatever. Sometimes good plans don't work. That's fine. But when there's so much controversy, you really do need to get the family together and say, here's what's actually happening. And the fact that they haven't has me worried that it's because at least one of them knows they can't.
Good job, Brian. Good job.
I don't know about all that, but
Matt's like, I just want to move on. I want to be done.
But yeah,
who cares?
we'll see when they
also Leslie
back
Bibb
in
is
the
very
news
attractive
again.
from the White Lotus, and she's much older than me. So there you go.
So you would
date. Like 50 years older than you?
So
she's 51, so she's not 50
exactly.
years older than me.
That's
But...
the key. 50 years older. If there's a 50 years age gap. If there's a 40-year age gap, I'll give you up until you maybe could convince me at 10.
So what if you met someone significantly older and you knew they were your soulmate and they were like there was nothing wrong with them? Would you still do it?
They're not my soulmate. They're nobody that old will be.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm fortunate to have already, if soulmates are real, I'm fortunate to have already met mine.
Right,
but
it's cool. We get it.
I would not be against an older partner, especially now. I mean, I'm 30
I
now,
said my personal 10 years is the most.
That's 10's a decent. Okay.
But I feel better being around somebody I can have more common with in my generation.
Fair.
As the Knicks are melting in front of my eyes. All right. Continuing on to other things, though. Good luck to those two, I guess. But
I think good luck. Good luck to them.
But unfortunately, I have to bring up the story that took place on Wednesday night at the Pittsburgh Pirates and Chicago Cubs game in Pittsburgh PNC Park. A serious incident occurred when a fan fell 21 feet from the right field bleachers onto the warning track, landed right on his neck and head. I'm not going to show the clip out of respect, but the fan has been identified as 20-year-old Kevin Markwood, a former college football player. The fall happened during the 7th inning of a 2-run double by Pirates designated hitter Andrew McCutchen. Witnesses reported that Markwood had removed his shirt, poured beer on himself before the fall. He was transported to the Allegheny General Hospital and remains in critical condition at this time. Pittsburgh public safety officials are treating the incident as accidental and have indicated they do not anticipate any further details. Like I said, I saw that and just shocked. And I mean, that was nasty. That was nasty. I don't know. Have you guys seen the clip?
I thought he died.
Yeah.
Actually, like holy shit.
Well, at this moment, he's in critical condition, but that wasn't pretty. But what could have caused that to happen? And they say it's accidental. Do you think it was a guy who was very inebriated and, well,
maybe
that caught up to him? Your wisdom catches you, but you cannot run faster. What's that line? That African proverb? You ever heard that?
I've not heard that one.
It's basically another way to say, with all due respect to this guy, you're stupid. Not saying he's stupid. I don't know what's going on, but it's the idea that I just like, why did this happen? I hope it wasn't alcohol induced. There are context clues that show it probably was. I would like to think he wasn't making content for that, because again, bro
that
fell.
Doesn't seem to be what it is.
But like, this just seems like a wrong place, wrong time. And I guess we'll wait for more details to come out, but nasty work.
On TikTok, I was reading like some comments and some people said they were around him during the game and he was doing like a squat, like jump thing like in his seat though, and I think he was just off balance, and then he like went over.
So Dan Clark on X gave some info that basically he's not for a drunk Pirates fan who fell from the stands discourse. I don't know. You might even think the fan was drunk. I don't know. He just doesn't like the discourse around that. So but it does have some info. He's 20 years old. He was at the game with friends. He was a football player, himself. He had a partner. They recently bought a home together. Recently experienced family tragedy. That doesn't explain what that is, but it's in this list. Had a good job. Was well respected amongst his community. So
All
that's
that at
so
20
this,
years old? Really?
I mean, yeah, I think that's a pretty normal thing, right? You've got friends and
Buying a
neighbors who
house
like
at
you.
20 years
I was
old?
gonna say having.
Oh no, that part's
Oh.
not. That part means
Oh, yeah.
that someone gave them money or they got lucky in the stock market or something. But
Yeah.
they
Okay.
bought
Okay.
GameStop. Who knows? Doesn't matter. My point is that it seems like this was a guy out with his friends having fun. That could mean there was alcohol. That could mean there was some horseplay, right? Like it's possible. It could also just be one of those things that just one of those freak accidents that happens. If you watch the video, it looks like he tries to grab onto the railing, so I don't think it was on purpose. So he tried to get himself back up as he started to fall. He didn't want to fall. So that's something. But yeah, this could just be one of those freak things that happens sometimes, and it's horrible, and it sucks for everybody involved. But I don't know that it's any deeper than that. Which, like, we don't like as humans. We want there to be a reason that we can blame. Because we'd be like, that's the reason, that's the blame. Don't do that, and you'll be fine. But sometimes you're just not fine. Sometimes you're not. And that might have been what happened here. But I do hope he recovers. I mean, hopefully fully, but at least to some degree. So he, can continue doing the things that he was doing before the game.
Exactly, brothers and sisters. Exactly. So let's just move on from there. So the next thing to get into, right? We got more info on the Shadeur Sanders fiasco, as we talked about. Shadeur Sanders getting drafted 5th overall, and also getting a prank phone call, waiting for his big moment. And as we talked about on Tuesday's show, that led to the Atlanta Falcons apologizing, and we found out it was the defensive coordinator's son. Jax Ulbrich was the guy who provided the number, and the guy who still hasn't been named or anything, who actually did the call.
Yeah, the other guys haven't been named yet.
And yeah, so after this, the Atlanta Falcons get fined $250,000 for that incident, and Jeff Ulbrich himself, making only $1.8 million in the season this year, he lost 1/8 of his salary within $100,000 fine. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
His son got his dad a $100,000 fine. Now, of course, a $1 million salary is great for the normal person, but not really that lucrative compared to other
Head
coaching positions and stuff. He is technically one of the highest paid coordinators, but again, it's nowhere to players or coaches' salaries, head coach salaries.
Yeah.
And yeah, how do you bounce back from that? Just nasty work.
Does anyone else feel like finding the Falcons was a bit much?
I guess they really want to make an example, but that's the one thing, because there are allegedly other prank phone calls. Then you gotta,
were they all
investigate and prank
stemming
those.
from the Falcons?
Oh no! That's what I'm saying. The Falcons get singled out for this
because they call it Shadeur. Yeah. Why do you think that the Falcons having to pay is correct? I'm just curious.
You need a set of precedents to it. You want to make sure it doesn't happen again. No team. Not everybody got to tighten shit.
Well, right, and that's why you fine Ulbrich for leaving the laptop.
Ulbrich, you put in Ulbrich, it's $100,000. All right, it's a slap on the wrist. Cool. It's the son.
No, give him the $250.
He's not gonna get the crazy.
Just give him the $250.
You find the team. You find the team now. You find the team now. Now every other teams after this year are all going to be tight shit with their shit, with the numbers, people's private information. You're making sure that shit ain't coming out, period. There's
Yeah,
not
but
going to be another, there's no
But they were
room to make
supposed to
another
do.
error.
They've been doing that anyway.
Yeah,
That's what I mean.
but
This
they're
was
supposed to, but
Ulbricht's
they didn't.
fault. This is Ulbricht's fault. It's not. And I say this again. Ulbricht was the head coach of my team last year. Lest we forget.
Well,
I'm not. I've got no ill will to Jeff Ulbricht. I'm saying that like this was his fault. He left the list out, so
listen,
he
and
should
over the
pay.
back.
The Falcons
Here's the-
didn't leave the list out.
I get what your point is, but here's my problem. You lead by example. So if you are with the Falcons and it starts with the top, ain't making sure shit is secure, then you must handle it from the top. Period.
They didn't have a chance to
So
handle it because it became public news because they happened to call Shadeur Sanders instead of all of
Bro,
the other
it's a-
people who got
It
great
looks
calls.
bad. It looks bad, and the NFL had to do something about it. Not going to be
Right.
like, well, the Falcons
think-
had nothing to do with it.
Listen, I
Falcons
think
had something to do with
250
it.
to Ulbricht would have been more than a slap on the wrist, and it would have been absolutely warranted, and it would have proven to everybody that we're going to take a quarter of your salary if you mess this up. So don't mess this up. I think that that's a perfectly fine punishment, and I don't think that that's a problem in terms of way to do that. But I just feel like you're punishing the team because they had a guy on the team do something wrong, and that's fine. And that's fine. But then I have to ask, why is it that the teams are not paying fines when their wideouts wreck their cars on the Texas highways, or when their running backs beat the living snot out of their kids? And that's to me, that's the problem that I have with the NFL going after the team. If the team is responsible for the members on it, that's fine. Then why is it that the reigning Super Bowl champions, actually not reigning Super Bowl champions, the prior reigning Super Bowl champions, I forgot that the Chiefs lost. Why is it that they received no real punishment for having one of the most reckless off seasons anyone's ever had last off season in terms of criminal activity and dangerous activity? And there's no answer to that. The answer is that they select when they do and don't call the teams part of the equation. They need to lock in if the team is responsible or not. Because honestly, if the team is responsible, then you go for the team and you let the team discipline their players and their coaches and their staff. The fact that you're doing both, to me, is overkill only because there's no precedent for it. They let players get away with way worse than a prank phone call.
When those accidents or wife beatings are where they're happening outside of work or inside.
Shadeur was not on a professional football team.
Hold on. Again, I'm not done yet. Where's that number coming from?
A team notebook, probably,
I'm talking to you as a boss. I'm letting you know now.
Yeah.
If that number, I gave you a number from me.
No, I know. I got that.
Work related.
Yes.
And it somehow gets posted or somehow some private number gets taken.
Sure.
At the end of the day, it's on me because I entrusted you with that number. So yes, I will get fined. Now, other people getting car accidents, being a wife stealing, whatever, that's off work property. So that's your business.
But that's honestly not true, and you know it's not true.
What do you mean? It's not true. You represent
if I'm
me.
telling you, if I got absolutely hammered and got pulled over for a DUI, my employer would have a very significant problem with that.
Was it on work?
Doesn't matter.
No, it does. Because
no, it doesn't, Jose. I'm telling you as someone who has signed not one, not two, but 4 different contracts to work someplace. There are always clauses about what you do off work reflecting on them. That's
I get what you're saying, but that's different. You're just one person and the totem pole of another guy that can do the same job. This motherfucker could hit a 40 at 4 seconds. Are you gonna really release that?
So what you're saying is that the athletes are worth more than the defensive coordinator.
Athletes or whatever, but that's the thing with you.
No, fine. I don't. There's people who would agree with you.
You're asking to see there's a differential between a person that's 1 out of a million and a person 1 out of a billion.
See, for me,
a coach, I can get that anywhere. I can go to the college and get another one. I can't get another wideout. So unless this shit, some big shit that happened inside, some really scandalous shit that happened inside the NFL, that's on them. That
So
shouldn't be on me.
I'm gonna have to put my cassock on for a second. Sure, but there is right and wrong are universal. They don't go by pay scale. They don't go by skill level.
Totally agree.
If you're right, you're right, and if you're wrong, you're wrong. If the team is responsible for any time its coaches do something wrong, then it's responsible for any time its players do something wrong. If the players and the coaches are solely responsible when they do something wrong, then that's who's responsible no matter what else is happening. And then, I mean, you could take this to the other conclusion, but I won't because I don't like this. You could say everyone can do everything wrong. We don't care. I don't want them to do that, to be clear. I'm not suggesting they do, but I am saying that going after the Falcons and Ulbrich, to me, is setting the wrong message. And the message it's setting to me, frankly, is actually more akin to what you're saying about special. They're attacking is the wrong word, but they're going after both because of who they called. And don't pretend for a second that that's not why both Ulbrich and the Falcons are paying. It's because Shadeur's the guy who got called, and they're already, that camp, the Dion camp, is already fired up that his son went to the Browns in the 5th.
Let me put it on this one for you. Let me give you this view. You are the NFL. You are the one that runs the ship. You hold it to a higher standard.
Sure. I mean, they don't, but yeah, sure.
At that present time, they hold it to a higher. The draft is secret, yes or no? In some regards, it is. Okay. Point is, you do not want to set a precedence where people can pull bullshit, prank calls, especially with today's society, with fucking social media and trying to get.
So why is it that only one team got fined?
What other team was prank calling?
We don't know because we didn't even investigate the other prank calls.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they didn't happen to Shadeur Sanders. That's the point I'm making.
No, because
that's the point I'm making.
But until
wrong
then,
is wrong and right is right.
Nobody's coming out.
But I'm saying wrong is wrong and right. No, they have come out. There are other prank calls that happen. That's a fact. We know that.
But nobody has information on it yet.
Right, and they didn't care to know because it's not Shadeur. No one's looking into it. That's what I'm saying. Right is right and wrong is wrong. If they're going to set this precedent, like you said, then they need to investigate every call, even undrafted. Find the undrafted guy who got the prank call at the very end, thinking that they made it at the end of the day, that their dreams are about to come true. Find that guy's prank phone caller. Find out which team leaked that.
We don't know if they're not trying. We're assuming
we do know. We do know. Trust me, we know. And if you need to wait until the season starts to admit that I was right, then that is totally fine as well. I will give them till the season starts. I will give you till the season starts. But we all know the reason why this is happening, and we know the reason why they find both people. When is usually they barely punish anybody for doing anything wrong. It's because they did it to the wrong guy, and they did it to Shadeur. And I think that honestly, we're setting the precedent where this season of the NFL is going to be almost as unbearable as last season, where we thought that everything was going to be about the Chiefs, because it was. This is going to be the Shadeur Sanders show for no actual reason. And it's going to get annoying, and it's going to get annoying very quickly. And they're already proving that they're applying the rules differently.
And why is it annoying? The NFL sees probably dollars out of that.
I'm sure they do. Same with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. I know.
Yeah, everybody's gonna. Nobody gives two shits about the Browns. Now this season, everybody's gonna want the Browns. Everybody's gonna watch every fucking game of the Browns.
And he's barely gonna play.
He probably not. He praying to God. Everybody's probably praying to God that every quarterback sucks just to put freaking what's his name in.
Shadeur, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
co-host Ryan is back. Pope Ryan left after giving his sermon.
Right.
About right and wrong.
Was like, these are all dollar signs. Like, shit. Well, teachers, homeboy. Teachers, defensive coach, not to be fucking lackadaisical with his fucking private shit, and he tells the fucking Falcons to fuck off. That's it.
I got you. I hear you.
Oh man.
Just like Detroit's gonna tell the Knicks to fuck off in a minute.
Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Okay.
Anyway.
So Ryan, the United Football League.
Yeah, UFL
football, UFL. fucking the dumbest, another stupid idea that I'm surprised people still think is a thing, and it's a good idea. Well, did you see what happened this weekend with Puka Nakua's brother, Samson Nakua? I believe he plays for the whatever the St. Louis team is out there.
Oh, they're a new team. That's a new team. Yeah. One of the expansion
hilarious,
teams. They've expanded. There's more of them now.
Or maybe it was at home and they were playing the St. Louis Battlehawks. I don't know which team.
Maybe.
But bro, the UFL had Samson Nakua do this to a fan after a game that he was yelling and bickering at. See? See it again, right here. He slapped him. Look at that.
Wow.
I mean, legit, bro. How do you explain that? I haven't seen anything. Not even Dwayne, I can't do no wrong Johnson. You literally have one of your players attack a fan.
Hey,
and maybe because it's simply not the NFL, it's not a big story. Okay. But damn.
Maybe there's something on the ticket. Maybe there's something on the ticket that, I mean, think about this. In WWE and UFL used to be XFL, which used to be WWE's brainchild, right? In the WWE, you sign, when you get a ticket, your ticket comes with the idea that, yeah, these guys might be near you and you could get hurt, and that's on you. What, everyone's going to do everything they can to be safe, but you got to try and keep yourself safe too. So you're jaw jacking with the player, and the player slaps you. You think you can make the argument, depending on what's on the ticket, that the player or the patron rather did not do everything possible to keep himself safe while attending the game. But yeah, I think it probably mostly comes down to nobody saw it because it was the minor leagues, and so who cares?
Well, that was pretty silly. Maybe he's just pissed he's not in the NFL. And you think maybe that fan was like, haha, your brother's in the NFL. You're here. Despite him paying a ticket for that very game.
That's yeah, I mean, the tickets
the UFL has to go stinks. This is when you go viral.
Have you ever watched the UFL, man?
Yes, I have.
All right. I don't think it was that bad. It was fine. It was just
silly.
It was just football, but everybody was a little worse at football. It was the NFL, but if they missed more times than they caught it.
Was not impressed.
Well, I wasn't either. I'm just saying it wasn't any more. It was not any different than actual football, like professional football as we would know it. It was just they didn't throw it as far and didn't catch it as much.
And then we had another disappointing moment as we transition. The great Abbey from Love on the Spectrum. She went on a podcast with David. But she went on this man's podcast, Logan Paul.
Oh, shnikes. Impulsive decision by Abbey.
Come on, Abbey. Come on, Abby's mom. Come on.
Do you like being famous?
I do, because I want to make more money. That's
okay,
my
narrative.
What do you want to buy with all this newfound money?
I want to build my own water park, but I don't make as much money as Chapel Roan does.
If she's in a parasitic record label deal, there's a chance maybe you are wealthier and have a higher net worth than Chapel Roan.
She does. She's
what about Sabrina Carpenter?
Look, that
she has a lot more money.
Yeah.
I'll give it a pass because
honestly, that was kind of wholesome.
only freaking Abbey can make Logan Paul seem wholesome.
Yeah, it was kind of wholesome. I can't pretend it wasn't.
I want to make more money.
I mean, Abbey, girly, I'm with you. I do too.
I know, that's why. I mean, she openly admitted to what a lot of people do for fame, including Jordan Hudson. And
Logan Paul, for that matter.
So you know what, Abbey, that's fine with me.
Logan, why are you doing all this? I want more money. Yeah, Logan Paul gets it. I mean, that's the reason he's done everything he's done in his career. That's why he was on Bizaardvark.
Bizaardvark? What is Bizaardvark?
Bizaardvark. It was a Disney show for like a season and a half that he was on Disney Channel when he was a kid.
They gave him a show on Disney Channel?
No, he wasn't the main character, but he was in the cast, yeah.
He was a cast, so
He was
there's
in
a
the cast
world
member.
where
There's a TV show in which Logan Paul is a cast member. Yeah, from like Disney, kid Disney. You know.
good thing I grew up then.
Yeah.
You know what my favorite Logan Paul thing is? When somebody once tweeted, I was told in my life that the bullies wouldn't be successful in my life. Here's my bully, and it was Logan Paul.
I mean, yeah.
Man.
Unfortunately, sometimes the bully is successful. I think you just got to be okay with that. It's not always that It's not always that the bad guy loses in the end. This isn't a fairy tale. Sometimes they do fine.
Not in real life.
That's what I'm
Not
saying. Yeah, in real life,
life.
sometimes they do fine.
All right, guys. I'm going to give you a hodgepodge of viral clips of just
Okay.
random viral clips during the week and what was left, right?
Mhm.
So first, from a mixture of fucked up and good, let's start with a fucked up one. There's this
Okay.
new trend allegedly where some OnlyFans models are using AI to disguise themselves as people with Down syndrome to get more love, and which we showed once an example of that of a viral clip there. So we got this, right?
You knows I get my pip. Wait.
This is one of the most disgusting things that I have ever seen on social media. There are women out there that are using filters and AI to make it appear as if they have Down syndrome just so they can sell more subscriptions to their OF account. Now, I don't know if they're stealing content or using their own, but why in the world does this filter even exist in the first place? And how sick in the head do you have to be to actually do this? And what type of pervert sicko actually goes and subscribes? So, to all the women out there that are doing this, and the people that support them and subscribe, shame on you. You need to do better. I really, really hope that Instagram and OF do something to stop this.
Good job, Joey Swole. Good job.
Can I ask what will be a dumb question, probably?
What?
No, because I think I'm thinking it too.
Have we confirmed that they just don't have Down syndrome?
That video was definitely manipulated.
I mean, I don't know enough about videos. Like, do they have other non-Down syndrome content?
I'm not looking for those things, but I don't think genetically that's possible either.
What do you mean genetically?
You
If they're
can't.
faking it, yeah.
No, you can't. Those are faking it. I don't think.
No, I know that.
I don't think there's
I-
anyone, with all due respect, with people with Down syndrome who looks like that.
Gotcha. You're saying if you have actual Down syndrome, that you
Yeah.
are not attracted enough to be an OnlyFans model.
No, I'm saying
What do you mean?
I don't
no?
think
That's
you
what
can-
you
I
just-
don't think-
There's mad Down syndrome women that are OnlyFans
How's
that
that?
are hot.
Be careful.
do they
Jose.
look like models though, like that? Like they were able to train themselves in there?
Yeah, there's some baddies
Who?
that look
Who?
that
Oh
you
my
I don't know their
God.
names, but I've
I
seen
can't.
a
This
couple
is
of baddies with Down syndrome. Like you wouldn't even.
I think you're the one getting
like,
tricked. Exactly who Joey's
I am
talking
swear. No,
about.
I swear to God, I seen I didn't.
All
wanna
right,
believe
give me
that
a
there's no
clip. Send
possibility.
me a real person
Do
with
you
Down
think
syndrome
at
there.
this moment? Do you think at
Oh, you
this
told me
moment
it's
I can
real,
handle
so
that?
it must
I'm
be
telling
easy to
you,
pull
I'm
up.
not. Well, I'm not gonna go pull up because I'm busy doing other things. I ain't gonna worry about Down syndrome people. But I'm telling you,
So
I've
you're
seen
the
it.
one getting tricked. Joey Swole, they're tricking you, bro.
Okay, cool. They're
was
tricking
that the
me.
question you had, Allison? Was it what I asked as well?
I need a second.
Okay. That was my only question, and that would be my only question for all of this. Is I agree with 100% of what Joey said, and I'll go a step further in agreeing with Joey. Even if you find one, as Jose suggested, an OnlyFans model rather, who does genuinely have also Down syndrome, it is weird that you would specifically seek that. I think it's weird to seek that out on purpose. But I understand to each their own. I think the Knicks did something
What are we
good.
doing here, bro? Let's go.
And
Keep going.
But yeah, that would be my only question is, while I agree that it's wrong to pretend you have have a disability or just whatever to try and garner views for any of your content, be it OnlyFans or otherwise, I would want to make sure before I started accusing people of doing that it was confirmed that the filter exists. in that they are actually doing that, because I have a hard time believing that the filter exists. And so I'm kind of curious.
There are
what
some people who are
is.
messed up that can do that.
What's what I'm saying? Like, I'm curious
Like
what the filter is, what the
coders.
tech is. Like
Like,
that's what I
remember
wanna
when
see.
Dolo, they go to those, underground AI websites like Dolo showed us.
Sure, no, that's what I mean. Like, I'm sure it's doable. I'm saying, like, I would just like to see an example of someone who did it.
Instagram is not offering that.
Right. Before I just jump to the, oh, this is all people doing this. I just wouldn't want to accuse somebody who is genuinely just taking pictures of themselves of doing something like that crass. You know what I mean? That would be my only concern with the rant was, did he look into this person and determine that they actually don't have Down syndrome?
Are we really saying it's impossible for someone with Down syndrome to be?
I am definitely not saying anything like that.
That's what I was actually gonna say. So in the video,
what are you gonna say?
Go ahead, Allison.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that was what I was trying to say before. Is like in the video, I agreed with everything he said, but at the end when he was like, if you're subscribing to that, then like you're messed up and stuff. Like, how do you know? Because on OnlyFans, OnlyFans, you can't see like into people's profiles.
Fuck you, Malik Beasley.
You wouldn't know technically if they had Down syndrome or not. So what if they just have like a fetish that they're into people with Down syndrome and then subscribe?
You know what? I don't care. I care about the Knicks more than that. So I don't care. You can look up that stuff. Knicks win Game 5.
I mean,
Knicks are
I would
advancing.
say
Let's go.
It is strange if you're not. I mean, I don't know, and that might just be my own hang up about if you're somebody who is not in that same kind of boat to seek that out actively. There's a weird power thing there. I don't know. I think that's wrapped up in some weird stuff, personally.
See, for me,
you're pretty choppy right now, Jose. Yeah, still pretty choppy.
Hello? Just go.
Yeah. So Allison, what your thought was, like, you didn't agree that the premise, right? That couldn't be a real person.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna say just because someone has doubt, like what no one here said, but like I feel like it's been scratched upon.
I feel like it was almost basically said, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna be the one to say it. So, saying that some people with Down syndrome can't be attractive. Yeah, I know.
Right. I understand. Yeah. I do think there's weird is still the wrong word, but I do think there's a very specific reason for a fetish like that. Mm-hmm. And I don't necessarily know that those are all positive. Again, a weird power dynamic thing.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Like who can and can't, agree to do something. Now, again, it's OnlyFans, so they are all agreeing, right? As long as they have the ability to make the OnlyFans and they have the ability to consent to whatever they're doing on there. I don't know. But I'm more honestly just curious how this guy came to the conclusion that it was a filter. Because I would have never.
Do you not also realize whoever, like, let's say there's a girl doing that, using, let's say, filtered. Yeah. Don't you think they're gonna get so much fucking backlash once they figure out that it's not true?
That's what we have there. I will not be doing any more research on that. I just thought it was a important thing for Jolie Swoll to make apparent with that, and it's gross, very gross. So,
all right, then.
I'm starting to notice that there's a lot of things in life that you're thinking it's gross.
Yeah, the immoral things in this world.
Immoral things.
All right,
Matt chooses what is or isn't moral.
So let me say one thing though. Jay and Pamela are friends from TLC, but they got married. Who wants to see their viral moment?
Oh my goodness!
Look at this.
They had a lot going on, the two of them.
Jay and Pamela right here.
Mm-hmm.
From Jay and Pamela. Uh-oh.
Hey, this nigga stunned. Look at her, she can't stop smiling. Now y'all go bump into each other. Bump. He already crying. My nigga emotional.
Please rise as we receive our bride.
Hell yeah, bring Jigglypuff out here. Come on, my luck. Hey, that's a dog.
Thank you for flushing the toilet when I forget to.
I ain't gonna lie, Canelo looks
that's
like she
gross
really
too,
dropped
Jose.
like crazy dookie boulders, like Geodude size shits.
I promise to throw
Throw hands.
What?
if needed
Oh,
for you because nobody hurts my man.
okay. Look at her. She turned around and told the crowd. Big toe stubber. I'm surprised this nigga got any more tears left. He been crying all day.
I do.
This nigga be so ecstatic. Nigga love his shorty. Stop playing. Okay. Oh hell, this nigga nervous. Damn, look at the way her fingers bend.
Carmella,
She could have been fucking Mr. Fantastic.
your ring.
Nigga's about to get in the scissor position kissing. Jesus Christ.
Hey.
And damn, finally they get the daddy crying. It's old. Damn, don't fuck him right there, girl. Right there, god damn.
I didn't tell Jay until the next morning that when I went back to the bridal room to change into my Mexican outfit, I had a missed call from my dad.
Tell that nigga kick rocks, nigga. Fuck her. Damn, her eyes turn red too. She's shitty.
So in a way, it's like he was there and he was thinking of me while I was getting married.
How sweet.
Why wasn't the dad there? Do we know?
I think it's because he was absent father.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, I've only seen it for the.
Are you happy for Jay and Pamela?
Yeah. Love is nice, man, and they clearly love each other.
Nice, normal age couple. Good work.
We don't actually. Do we know their ages? But doesn't matter. Yeah. I mean, I remember the first series of clips that we watched. Those were certainly raunchier than that clip. So I still have questions based purely around that, like logistics and whatnot. But other than that, yeah, I think it's sweet when two people find each other and they decide to spend the rest of their lives together. I love that. That's nice.
Jose, your thoughts on Jay and Pamela tying the knot?
God.
Listen, at least they're getting it. They got a good sex life, so fuck it. They're
So,
happy.
Allison, you weren't here for the last time we discussed. Most of this show, up until this wedding scene, seemed to be about the two of them being intimate. Yeah, that they were very, very candid about frequency and all sorts of things. So
they say how they like do it.
They don't like really draw a graph.
Well,
anything,
from the clip
fully
we saw, we
understand.
didn't do that. If you watch the episode, they do.
Oh, did you watch the episode? Huh?
I've seen it because it comes after 90 Day Fiancé.
Yeah. You told us that it comes right after the show you watch. Yeah.
No, because there's this girl actually I came across on TikTok, and her boyfriend's in a wheelchair.
I've seen this guy too,
and she on
Instagram
obviously has his consent, but he's in the videos too, and talks about how they like engage in sex and like stuff like that, and it's like very informative.
Well, and they want to start so they're a little bit older. They want to start a family, and there's like a way that you're supposed to do that. That's mostly what they're talking about. By the
Is
way,
that the couple with the really attractive girl and the man in the?
No. This guy's he got paralyzed in a dirt bike accident or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So no, but they're talking
what I'm
about
talking
their
about,
fertility journey. We've discussed them. There's like the two couples.
Yeah, they like
very little
nobody.
sense. There's two very attractive. And that means say little sense. Who knows? I'm saying there was two very attractive, able-bodied women and two men who were not only just in a wheelchair, but it seemed like they were always in a wheelchair. They were born in such a way that they
really
required a wheelchair.
Palsy.
Yeah. And so it was a very interesting pair. This is not that. And again, they're talking about they're trying to have a family and how that works with him being paralyzed and all that. Yeah.
So I hear a lot of guys in wheelchairs on like Tinder and stuff.
Would you date a guy with a wheelchair?
Would I?
Yeah.
I mean, probably. I've dated like guys who've been like blind before and stuff. So
you dated a blind?
Do you have an elevator?
I did date my ex who sadly like passed away. He actually like had a it's like a genetic disorder, so only women can be like carriers of it, but only male offspring can receive it. For sure, it's called like LHON. I don't know how to say it.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
And it's like a big deal, so it's like hereditary. So he had two brothers. They all tested positive for the gene. He was like the only one like affected with like blindness, and because he drank like so much, it actually makes it worse. So he was actually like almost 100% blind.
Word. All right. So rest in peace to him. So last thing on this intimate talk, we had Bonnie Blue, the famous OnlyFans model. She was on the Bad Friends podcast, hosted by Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee. And well, this is just a hilarious exchange.
Are you engaged, by the way?
No, going through a divorce.
Oh, God bless.
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh,
Can I take a guess?
you've got a higher
love
voice
this.
than me.
Yeah. What happened?
Do you think was the divorce based on them sleeping with 1,000 men?
It's a good question.
He's amazing, bro. He always asks the best questions. Andrew Santino.
No. Okay. Right on. That had nothing to do with it.
No.
It was before that.
Listen, I don't know
Yeah.
what. I'm sorry, I don't know much.
You don't know much about sleeping with 1,000.
No, but I don't know.
I think you do actually. Bonnie Blue slept with 1,000 men in one day.
Is that what happened?
Is it one day?
One day, 12 hours.
Yeah.
12 hours.
12 hours. Can I ask some questions?
He's got it, dude. Yeah.
Fire away.
Yeah.
Really?
Give me a load.
One for one.
He is funny. He is charming.
I actually just watched her on a different pod too.
Yeah, which one?
Wait, what's the math for that? She said 1,000 men.
The math doesn't
12
math to me,
hours?
if we're being totally honest. But
Yeah.
I don't know if she went longer than 12
You'd have
hours
to
or if she had less than
you'd have
1,000
to
people. I don't
do-
know which one happened, but
Everybody was like 20 seconds. It was something like some stupid number. Like
You'd have to do 83.3 men an hour.
it's I don't know. I listened to clips of it. I didn't listen to the whole thing. But we've actually had him on the show. We've done his comedy on the show. Andrew Blaustein. The Stiff Socks podcast.
He interviewed
had
her.
That's
hilarious.
I
might actually
his.
go out
And
and find that.
they talked about stuff like that, and she talked about that. But here's the thing: like when she talked about it, she talked a lot about well, she talked more about a different video. I won't lie to you. But she did talk a little bit about that one, and she talked a lot about just generally finishing. So that's why I'm like, the math doesn't math to me, unless a lot of guys, unless there's 1,000 guys.
Well, unless she
very
jerked. Would you consider? I mean, it depends if you consider jerking them off and giving head at the same time, because you can knock 3 at one shot.
Well, right. That's why I don't know. And again, I didn't listen to the whole interview, nor have I seen the video, so I don't know.
You know what, Matt? I mean, Ryan, what you need to do, Ryan, you need to go do a little investigation for next week's show and watch the show.
Dude. I can't justify it.
There's got to be a free video somewhere on the internet.
There's definitely not. I would be shocked if there was. But...
Definitely not.
You should just double check, Ryan. Take that Pope outfit off and go on the dark side.
I'll go undercover on the internet as not Pope Ryan. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll see if I can find something. I mean, I find it usually. I've not looked for this one, but
I tell you, Ryan, if there's anybody that can find it, the Holy Spirit's with you.
I don't think I'll know, but if it's available, I'll find it. You know what? I think that one's just so, what's it called? That one's just such a big deal. I feel like they've probably scrubbed it from anywhere but the OnlyFans. But I will look and I will see what we.
Yeah, there probably got to be like a 10-minute clip. We're just checking.
Or even just a trailer where they go through the rules would be helpful.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Like, I don't have to even see the actual acts. Just her explaining the processes that they went through, I think would be helpful.
You know what? Maybe someone that's listening to the show that is on our OnlyFans can just help us out.
Sure.
Just give it to us. You know
Yeah,
what I
why
mean?
not?
Just
Send it to the
slide
Twitter.
it our way.
Yeah, exactly.
Why not? Send it to the Twitter. You pay for it.
Yeah, what I mean
Your
is
money, use it when you need it. You know what they say.
And for like a thank you, you can have me and Matt and Ryan do commentary like we're Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler.
Actually, sure. I would do that. I would do that as a thank you for someone who does that. As a general rule, yeah, I would do that. Why not?
Yep, give it a slobber knocker, if you know what I mean.
No, if you say the slobber knocker once, though, I'm leaving.
Well,
perfect time.
I'm gonna stay out of
the
this.
main event of WrestleMania: Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. What's going on here? The Rock. What the hell? What? Why? Why? John Cena, you son of a bitch! What?
By God, he kicked him right in the. What is it? What would he call those? He called them something.
I don't remember.
Oh,
So Ed and Nettie was an amazing show. They had the Nostalgicon take place over the weekend, and the amazing cast of Ed and Nettie reunited in this awesome moment. Did you guys see this?
I did not. We just went Bonnie Blue to
Isn't
Ed
it
and
a
Nettie.
cartoon?
Yeah, that's what I thought
cartoon.
too.
Look.
Yeah,
Just
hold on a second. Hi, everyone. You know, we don't really need to hear about Nostalgicon this, Nostalgicon that, and nostalgia. We get it. We're here. It's Nostalgicon.
I remember somebody once
We're
called
all
Ryan
about the
Double D.
nostalgia. So we should probably just get on with the show and introduce everybody. And hello everyone. Hi, well, you know me as Double D Edward. Hello. How are you?
Hello, hey, Double D. I thought there was supposed to be some chickens here.
Hey, boys! Oh boy. Do not steal roast chickens! Were you born in a cave? Oh boy, yes. Yes, there will
Does
be
he have
chickens,
a-
but we will not be stealing your chickens, Rob.
Hold on a second. Wait.
Eddie looks like his
Everybody paying
character.
their quarters
He
I feel
does,
like-
actually, yeah.
Yeah? All right. Let's do this. Round of applause, everyone.
Yeah.
He should have brought Plank.
Oh yeah.
Well, a lot of them play the
Should've
same
brought
voices
Plank.
too, so play multiple.
Well, Plank is a piece of wood. You just need to bring
Oh.
it out. That one. Yeah.
What? Where was this at?
Nostalgicon. I don't know where Nostalgicon is.
See, you show me these videos, make me regret ever going to like cons and stuff.
Regret not going, or you wish you went?
Wish I never went.
Why you feel?
go to
You
one?
feel subconscious?
It's fucking losers, and I'm supposed to go to a
That's
con.
you. That's you.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I'm supposed to go to one on Saturday, and I might have to cancel this.
Which one?
Oh,
Superhero Con.
no. That's in November, asshole. It's horror con.
Horror Con.
HorrorCon. That would be
You're
fun,
gonna see
actually.
who was
it's not the horrors I want, but I mean,
No, that would be a fun
Texas
one. You get
Chainsaw
to see like what's his
Massacre?
name. You get to see like
No,
the dude.
yeah.
What's his name? Like Robert Englund will be there, and
no, what's his name is gonna be there? The guy that played the original Scream, like the guy that played Michael Myers. But the one
anybody can say that was me.
The one I paid for was to meet Art the Clown in full getup.
oh,
So
Art the Clown.
I don't know who that
I'm
is.
a fan of Art
Those
the
movies are
Clown.
trash.
Terrifier.
I don't even know.
You're crazy. Terrifier.
First one was fine.
First one
I've
was
never
good.
seen
Second one was
these
good.
stuff.
Third one with the Christmas
Bad.
one, the last one was
Christmas
it was
one.
That ending was trash. But I get they're
Who
making
could
it.
be
I
more
didn't even watch the
dramatic?
third. I saw the second one and I couldn't. I didn't even watch the third one. The second one was
No,
so bad.
the second one was good. I think the third one was with Chris
First
Jericho
one was
gets
fine.
bad.
Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho was
gets-
in it. Yes.
Yeah, in the second one, he died in the third one. I'm not gonna. He dies bad in the third one, but you bugging.
Look
Art
at
the
me,
Clown's
I'm going to
amazing.
the con. All right.
No, HorrorCon sounds like it would be fun though. See
Nah,
the
you
You
movie
and
stuff.
Jose can
you
go
know
together.
Wisconsin called HorrorCon.
I just got into HorrorCon because my ex-girlfriend she likes horror movies, so I got into it.
Yeah.
And we went there to go meet the original two Scream, like the two bad guys in Scream, the Scooby-Doo motherfucker.
Oh,
and,
what's his name?
Oh, the really
Lillard?
hot guy.
Matthew
What's
Lillard
his name?
and forget the other guy's name. The hot one.
he's
That's the
so
one that I don't
hot.
remember the name.
Yeah, so I met both of them, and then I just got into it. There was always you always have that one big guest, and this year's Art the Clown, so I'm like, fuck it. I was a big fan. Going for
That's
it.
their big. They went from Matt Lillard to Art the Clown, huh?
Yeah, they got. Well, I think last year was someone big. I forgot who it was, but yeah, you meet so many fucking emo bitches too, all depressed. I'm gonna lighten
Sure,
up their
yeah.
day just by showing up.
There's also a lot of times you can see like what's his name, Jason. What's his name? The dude
Like,
who
you- and
plays
then you
plays
meet
Jason
wrestler-
rather. Kane
you
Hodder.
Right.
He's usually there. I bet.
You meet wrestlers there, like Jake the Snake was there last time I went,
I
or
believe that.
Demolition.
HorrorCon?
Snake is a person.
Mick Foley was there the first time I went.
That's interesting.
Ooh.
I guess Mankind, right?
Matt
Kinda.
is
Yeah.
like
Do you see like the people?
Matt
like,
has
the
been on
wrestling
his
stuff?
hater shit all day.
Yo, Matt, you're just hating, motherfucker.
So
right now.
like
God.
you saw that person who met there's a lot at the wrestling. They had the convention. I saw somebody took the time to write every single every single Liv Morgan match on a scroll, like every
that's
single one, and hand it to her.
Liv Morgan is like those are not all great matches either. You know what I mean?
So
No
it's
offense to
Jose.
Liv,
Those are the
but-
people you want to avoid.
I avoid anybody that's stupid enough to dress like them, or like when I'm waiting in line, they want
I
to talk
can't.
about or when they talk about wrestling, like it's a real thing. It's like, bitch, it's not real. I love
It's real
wrestling,
to
but
me,
it's not
damn.
real. And yeah,
Still real to me.
I
damn
will
it.
admit,
No.
Jose, especially the wrestling fan, does make me a little self-conscious.
Yeah,
being a
hell
wrestling-
yeah, you got the
real,
fat
true, hardcore one.
It's
That's
actually,
why
I'll
we
say
get
it-
make fun of. We get
I'll
made fun
say
of.
it's very hard. So as you guys know, I write about that, right? And it's really hard because they do want you to like you have to both write outside of kayfabe, but also you can't totally break kayfabe when you write it.
I
It's very
personally,
other than interviews. If you're doing an interview, you're allowed to do it either fully in or fully out of kayfabe. You just have to basically acknowledge what is happening. But like with the stuff that I do, you know, writing about like events that have happened or like future potential storylines, like I have to keep it, even though it's obviously, I know it's scripted and I'm talking a lot of times at length about the scripted nature of it, you know, moving forward, what's the story, blah, blah, blah. I have to be careful not to completely break kayfabe because there are wrestling fans who will not engage with the content if you just totally break kayfabe. Like you do have to be careful with how you break it and where you break it. It's really tough, yeah. So there, there are definitely
that's why I
fans who still
only
take
watch
it super
WWE. I don't watch any of the other leagues.
those are the scary ones that are really believing the kayfabe. Like, oh my god, like Jey Uso got hurt. I hope he's okay. Like,
You see them on Twitter all the time.
Those
All the
motherfuckers
time.
you see them in the conventions all the time. Like standing like in my mind is like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like literally, I just want to go home and shoot myself because these motherfuckers.
Well, I've never been like that. But
Well,
yeah.
like being around them makes me like now I know why I'm single all the time. But now I know why these motherfuckers like don't get
Because they're
laid.
hanging out at conventions.
Yeah, conventions with these fucking sweater wearing motherfuckers that's like 90 degrees out. It's 90 degrees out. They got a fucking Hulk Hogan sweater on. It's like goddamn thing. Let's go.
Yeah, the full bodysuit with the muscle.
Exactly.
Maybe I'll meet my husband at a convention. Maybe I should
There you
be
go.
going.
Well, I'll see you at Comic-Con this year. I'll meet you there.
I'll say this, Allison. I don't never been to a convention, but I've seen them happen here in DC. I've walked by the convention center, and I think there are a lot of guys in there who would absolutely go on a date with
you,
with me,
Well, honestly-
frankly.
with
No,
you?
with me. I'm
Anybody.
saying.
Oh.
So like you've got like you'd probably have your pickings, right? There would be you could pick the best looking guy there. There would be no competition.
I tell
you
you
would
this,
walk in there and you'd be like, oh my god, like this is a normal person. You know what I mean? This person's not dressed as an elf of some kind. And I think that you would be locked in. You could have your pick of the place.
I'll tell you this right now, Allison, like HorrorCon or any other ones I got, any ones I go, Allison can pick any. Like she can go in there and just like rack them up.
Here's the problem with HorrorCon though; they're all gonna be kind of sad.
Yeah, I just need her to dress all in black. If she wears some pink, I just tell her.
Well, that could be good though. I don't. Depends what you're into. We don't have to get into that on camera.
If
But-
Michael Myers choked me with his hands and threw me up against a wall, you'd be solid.
There you go.
With the mask on, huh?
HorrorCon
Mask does
for
it
her.
for you. The pale
Oh,
mask
yeah.
does it for
Or his
you.
breathing.
Which one's his breathing?
I
He
don't know.
breathes.
Does
I
he
mean, I think he
breathe
breathes
really?
normal.
But
Jason has the funny breathing.
Jason got that. Yeah.
he could breathe in my ear too.
I think you're
That-
right, Allison. Maybe you do need to look at the cons for
I'll see- I'll see- I'll
for
see
your future
Saturday.
husband.
There you go.
Oh, Jesus. So I had a
Oh, God.
hilarious moment of this groundhog trolling this farmer. This is what life's all about. I love this groundhog. He should be named. You're getting the full screen treatment for this one. You see this? He looks right in his camera. Right in front of the camera.
That's pretty funny.
This is a good ass farm too. To have whole fruits and veggies like that.
Well, that's a long carrot. Look at that.
Videos like this make me feel better.
Yeah, he's eating good, this guy. He's eating good. I don't know what that is.
I think there's a grape.
Oh, he's out of food. He's out of food. He ate it all.
What's the next step? Yeah, I'm gonna do it anyway.
You finish that carrot. Look at him go. Oh,
keep going, brother.
Now this dude's still eating. Now he's getting. Honestly, it's a little bit.
Hey,
oh, there's
buddy.
two of them. He said, "God, I know the best spot, dude." Now, he was on a date just there. That's what that was. He took his girl on a date. All you could eat buffet.
All right. It's too bad Alice has stepped away because we have to pick between this. Do we do, to finish it off, a wholesome story about this video store, or game is game with Allison?
Whatever you want.
Oh, you already know what. You don't even have to ask me.
I know. We just gotta wait for Allison. Where'd she go?
She stepped out of screen for a second. I don't know if she
Well,
can
can
still
we
hear us.
just do the wholesome story and then see game there?
Just 1 second.
Sorry.
We are gonna save the wholesome story for next week, and we're gonna do a favorite now with a girl to hear the great advice of game is game, and see if game is game is accurate or not.
Oh yes,
Allison,
this is not.
Today is a good day.
Game is game is an advice Game is game is an advice profile. We don't know his real name, but his game is game, life and scars. And we'll play a few of his advice videos.
Some call him
tell me,
philosopher.
Tell me if you agree with them or not, Allison, from a female perspective. So let's start with this one. How to meet women. All right, that's a pretty easy one to start.
Yeah.
All right, so game is game. Let's do it.
Am I gonna be enraged?
I don't know.
Probably.
Fuck my life.
Here we go. How to meet women according to Game is Game.
One way to meet some bitches is through other bitches. Look, a lot of people gonna tell y'all to go to the bar, go to the gym, go do all these hobbies and all this shit. But I need you to know that if you on these dating sites and you still having trouble meeting women, you might need to switch your game up. You need to start swiping right on everything, including the ugly chicks. Guys, you gotta remember that ugly women have badass friends. And when you match with some of the ugly women, it might not be a bad idea just to go hang out with them if you're having trouble meeting women. And what this will do is that this will get you invited to fucking girls' night out and parties and all this kind of shit. I'm not telling you to fuck the chick, but have you ever got with a girl and you noticed that she had a badass friend and you was like, bitch, why you ain't tell me about your friend before I got with you? Well, you playing the same game except opposite. You getting with the less attractive girl, you gonna friend zone her and wait for the good looking friends to come across. Sometimes the ugly chick is your bridge to ass, titties, and big booty bitches.
How we feel about that? Pretty easy, right? How to meet girls who you meet other girls?
So, being a girl, if you're a true girl's girl, you would never date someone you were once intimate with, that your friend was once intimate with. So technically, the advice he's giving you, if they're real girls, is not great advice.
You know what else is
what do
not...
you think about that?
Sorry, let's hear what Jose has to say.
Took it as a girl. You want to get with the ugly girls, like friends with the ugly girls, to get to the hot girl. So if the girl's ugly, she probably got 4 hot friends. So I'm gonna be cool with the ugly girl to get connected to the hot friend.
But what happens when you leave the girl that you don't find attractive?
But the girl you don't find attractive, if you lead her on just to get to a friend, the friend's
he
not
never
gonna go for you because the girl calls.
He never said anything about romantic thing. You're just cool with an ugly girl. Ain't gonna have no friends, no guy friends. So as a guy coming in, you are actually balancing it out to get with the hotter friends.
This feels like fuzzy
I'm usually the less
math.
hot friend, and I have guy friends.
This sounds like fuzzy math out of Jose. I'm not gonna lie.
It's not fun.
I see a hole in this, and that's if they're really good friends and you go for the one that you think you can get, convinced to take you around easily just to meet the other ones. when you start pursuing the other ones, they're all gonna be like, dude, weren't you just talking to XYZ person? Now you're talking to me.
Also, I'm cutting you off. I'm not going to be friends with you. I don't care how good we fell out.
You see, the perception. See, you're already jumping as if I was trying to get with the ugly friend to use her to get to the.
That's
other
what
friend.
he said, though. That is what game said.
Game just says what every other dude does. We befriend the other girl, the ugly girl. We
whatever.
At the rip makes it known that I only like you as a friend. There's nothing in between that me romantically into you. I'm befriending you. I'm getting to know you. I'm all these things. Get some attachment to you as a friendly level, but she already knows that I'm not interested in that level. We cool. We can hang out. Bullshit. Go hang out and watch a movie.
No, I see what you're saying.
Then, once I establish that friendship, I know she has cuter friends.
No, I understand.
Once I build that connection and trust with her, guess what happens? That ugly friend is going to put me on to her cuter friends.
So
and then you bridge out.
I'm jump in here. So I get what you're saying, and actually, what you're saying makes sense. I didn't get that from what Game was saying. I heard something different. But what you're saying essentially, this advice is at its most basic is if you're having a hard time meeting girls, just make some friends because they'll have girls that you will then get to meet. That is the core tenet of what that is. If what you're saying is true, is make a friend with somebody, they'll take you around to their other friends. Those other friends might be more attractive than they are, and now you've got some people that you know. That's essentially just saying if you're having a hard time dating, just make friends first. And I agree with that. If you're not great at the dating thing, if dating puts too much pressure on, just make some friends with people. You'll build out your circle. You'll get to know more people, and then you might find someone that you're really into, and you can go from there. And you already know each other. But he just added a lot of profanity to essentially say, have friends if you're having a hard time finding a partner.
It's not about hard time. It
was. He literally said hard time.
Easy path. It's the easiest path to get in the hot girl. Is going through
the easiest path is asking like a man.
Because
but sure.
Okay, that is the hard part. If some people are not like that, and some people lack confidence, is it easier? But some guys overthink it. You're correct.
I'm right. And what you do to fix that is you make some friends. You build out a larger circle, and then you'll be fine.
I'm not making friends.
You're making friends. You said you're making friends.
I'm getting too old for that.
I am befriending her. I'm not being my best friend. I'm befriending
her. Best friend. Just be friends.
So I can have that trust because when the good-looking girl sees,
this feels like taking a wholesome thing and making it gross on purpose.
No, but it is gross. It is good because it's manipulating everybody.
Right, but you could just not manipulate people. You could just be friends with people.
You're totally correct.
Same result. The result doesn't change. Correct. You just haven't manipulated anybody.
Let me cut it. Let me cut that. You're right. Let me guess what? If I wanted to do that, I would have just cut the ugly girl off and went straight to be friends with the cute girl. Why do I need the ugly girl? I'm manipulating the ugly girl to build trust. So when
this feels like so much extra work than just being friends with people.
And trust, you're right, it is. But let's be honest. At the end of the day, we're thinking with our dicks, and we will go take 10.
Then I would say that's your first problem. Turns. Think with your actual head, and you might be like, you know what? This is a lot of steps.
I agree.
What if I cut down on the steps and just talk to the person that I found interesting?
And you're right.
And then see where it went. That would be the way to. That'd be the way to cut it off.
You're right.
Game.
I totally agree with you. And that would have been the easy way. If you're gonna get rejected, might as well get rejected in 30 seconds instead of holding your dick, wasting 3 months trying to get with this girl and nothing happens. I totally agree with you. But some people believe that they're not good looking, but they can manipulate the situation. Ryan is Ryan. So
game is game.
There you go.
I got one more for you.
Okay.
Maybe a second. We'll see how long. How to handle single women with dogs.
Okay. What?
I am a single woman with a dog. Just
perfect.
This is so perfect.
I'm your host, Extra Pressure. Today I got to talk to y'all about these single women with these dogs. They getting on my goddamn nerves. I swear to fucking God. If I'm at your house and we chilling on the bed trying to smooch, trying to watch a movie, trying to fuck or do whatever, and you the type to let your dog just crawl all over the bed and don't try to do shit to get him off, you a punk ass motherfucker for that. And
oh wow.
Let me tell you about this chick who I was hanging out with Wednesday. This motherfucker so disrespectful. She let the dog jump all over us while I'm trying to cuddle the bitch, and then she ain't gonna try to get him down. She tried to get me to like the dog. But as soon as she took her ass to the bathroom and that dog jumped down off the bed, and then he tried to jump back on when it was just me in the bed, man, I pulled my right foot back so goddamn far and booted that motherfucker in the goddamn side of his face. He flew into the goddamn wall. Man, we had a good night after that. Goddamn dog sat on the floor. Yeah, you goddamn right, motherfucker. Women, check your goddamn dog. What's happening, YouTube?
Wow. That was not... I have a bone to pick here, and it has nothing to do with...
I'm guilty, so it's fine.
It's not even having anything to do with that, but game is supposed to be what, a lifestyle, right? Like supposed to kind of be giving you advice. I don't necessarily always agree with the advice. I never agree with the way he says it.
Yeah.
But that wasn't advice. That was just venting. Somebody needs to call Life and Scars. Call Game is Game. He's not okay right now. When did he post that? What day did he post that?
I don't remember.
Well, we got to find out.
At least in March.
Oh, March? So he had a bad day in March. Hopefully someone reached out, gave him a hug, because he was mad.
Well, he said he felt better after.
Well, I mean, I believe he probably got intimate after, and that's why he felt better, right?
Jose, what do you think? I guess there really wasn't any advice in that one.
No, it was just, I got mad at a dog, so I kicked it. Game is game.
Like, how could you kick this? You couldn't.
I know.
No, I would.
I would accidentally, when I wake up in the morning, this is true, and stretch. Sometimes my cat is on the bed and is at the foot of my bed, and then I just feel my cat leap off the bed as my foot comes crashing toward him, and I always feel bad, but he's fine.
Don't worry, I got another one, a power positive. Why you should lie about your ex?
Oh, good.
There you go. More things Ryan will hate.
Positive. Lying is always good in a relationship.
You gotta stop talking shit about your ex. It's just that simple. If you want to talk to a female, or you might be talking to a chick right now, you telling her that your ex wasn't shit and how you had to get over that crazy bitch just goes to show that you got a poor choice of character, which you probably do. But that's not what you tell her, though, because she might think you might be the problem. Now, so when you're talking about your ex, you need to make it seem like y'all had a fantastic relationship. It was one of the best relationships you ever had. Y'all had some of the highest of highs and never the lowest of lows. You need to lie to this bitch. I don't care if your ex was fucking 5 dudes, took off with the kids, got your ass on child support, paying alimony. You tell her the relationship was good, the sex was good, the adventures were good, and the breakup was fucking good. Tell her y'all broke up fucking over a cliff while looking down at the clouds. Like, lie. Make your ex seem adventurous. That way you got this bitch too. Man, look.
We got a Jose agree. Y'all agree with that?
No.
What? Oh,
obviously.
Shit.
I don't think you should ever lie in a relationship in either direction. Not to make someone better, not to make someone worse. He says it kind of tongue in cheek, I think, but he brings up this idea that maybe you were the problem. I do think if you have a bad ex, before you start dating again, you should really sit down with your, not sit physically with the bad ex, but sit down with the experience of a bad ex and, wonder aloud, perhaps, was I the problem? I feel like a lot of bad relationships would be fixed if before entering into the next relationship, we all sat down and thought very seriously, was I the problem? And maybe you weren't the only problem. Maybe you weren't even mostly the problem. But if you sit down and you do that, and you come up with any problem that you were, that's something to fix when you get into the next relationship. But I don't know. Lying, I think, is crazy. Certainly lying to make your ex sound better is crazy. That's basically trying to pit your new girl against a fake woman, which is weird. Not even just it's just weird. Why would you want to do that? Like, I wouldn't want someone to act like a fictitious version of a girl that I've never dated. I would want to know what they're like so I could see if I like dating them. Like, having her try and be some, Carmen Sandiego, freaking all around the world sort of adventurer. If you don't want that yourself, then why would you want to make her strive for that? And more importantly, if you do want that, then shouldn't you want to know if the person you're seeing is also into that sort of thing? I just don't see the upside. I see what he's saying about don't trash your ex, and you shouldn't trash your ex, even if it wasn't a good relationship. Be like, yeah, it wasn't for me. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to trash somebody in your next relationship. I agree with that sentiment that you should not be talking shit about your ex in a new relationship. But I don't think you should lie about how great they were either. I think that sets up an even worse situation of your current person trying to live up to a fantasy. And they're not going to be able to do it. And they're going to be angry with you and all that stuff. And it's all because of a fictional woman that you made up. But yeah, also think about whether or not you were the problem. That's the first way to fix all of this. Game's game.
Ryan's Ryan.
Ryan's Ryan.
Oh, Ryan.
I've had guys ask me, not ask me, but like after like I told them about my ex, they were like, "Oh, you should have just lied." I was like, "Okay."
Well,
about
so
what?
what did you like? If you don't mind me asking, what did you say roughly? Don't go into too much detail.
Oh no, I just literally people will be like, "Well, when was your last relationship?" I was like, "Oh, like 2 years ago," and they're like, "Oh, what happened?" Like I was like, "Well, he died," and then I just laugh because I'm like, "Okay, like what else? Like you can't make that up." But it was like, I'm not gonna lie about it, so I just like cope with it. Like, okay, yeah, he died, cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think you shouldn't have to lie about that. I think if somebody doesn't
I think
like
it just
that,
makes them uncomfortable. So it's kind of like, oh,
I'll be
shoot.
honest. Personally, for me, that's like I think that's almost like a secret weapon that you have, because the answer to that question, I think that tells you a lot about the person that's sitting across from you. The response to hearing that's not a question, but the response to hearing that, I think that's going to tell you more about that person than anything on their dating profile ever will. Because there's basically two ways to respond to that, and only one of them is correct. And you don't have to be comfortable with those sorts of things to have the correct answer. But if someone says a person close to me died, you basically have to say some version of, "Oh, I'm so sorry." You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh, that's terrible." Like, if they don't show instantly, you know, genuine kind of remorse for the stranger that they just heard about, because they should like you. And if you have a hard time in your past, they should dislike that instinctually. You know what I mean? So if their first thing is like, "Oh wow, that's a mood killer," or maybe don't say that next time. Like, they're not worth shit. That's a little boy. You don't worry about them.
Ryan is Ryan.
Ryan is Ryan.
God damn, Ryan.
I'm right.
No, you are. You are. You're very right.
Why are you
Well,
bullying me? I'm right.
You're right in the last part. You're wrong about the other part, but the first part, but cool.
What was I wrong about?
About why you blow, like you tell the current girl about your ex girl and you blow her up.
Why would you do that? Like, why would you want to do that? That doesn't make a lick of sense to me.
It does make a
Say
lick of
nothing.
sense.
Be like, yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was fine. Yeah, it was whatever.
Why you blow up the other girls so you put home the new girl's low self-esteem and you can control her better? Jesus.
But why do you need to control somebody though? What?
Because
That's the bit
some
that I don't
people
ever
like
understand.
control. Obviously I can see that. You don't not understand. Some people like to be dominant in a relationship. So what do?
You dominant? What is this? 1937?
Oh
like,
my God.
no seriousness. Why do you care? Autonomy is fine. If they like you, you don't have to dominate them. You could just ask.
All right. Can I explain something? Some guys in the online world, online dating, have low self-esteem. Can we all? Most of us guys
in general, dude. This is true. I looked up a statistic about Gen Z guys.
So
they haven't even asked the girl out before.
when you get into this relationship, it's easier to once you enter in, they will feel some type of way. So in their way, they're masking it by manipulating you to make you feel like you're not good enough, which then realize that I can control the relationship, which then hence I feel more powerful, which reasons.
You know what's crazy though, Jose? Like genuinely crazy. And I want to tell the guys who are like this, if they're listening, if you don't suck, like as a person, if you're just normal, most of the time, you could just ask. You don't have to control anything. You could just say what you want, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, that makes sense," or "Sure, why not?" Like most people are not gonna be like, "No."
Yeah, but
They're not gonna be like, "No." If you're a good person and you treat them right, and you got them feeling a certain way when they ask you to make them feel a certain way, then you're fine. There's no issue. You don't have to dominate or control anybody. The only time you have to dominate or control is if you have no intention on doing right by other people. But if you do right by other people, they will do right by you. That is the law of basically of life. And no matter how cynical we all get, and we're all very cynical, we're getting more and more cynical each day, especially here in the United States. No matter how cynical we all get, that's an immutable fact of life. That if somebody treats you right, you're more likely to treat them right. That's just a fact.
As you want done onto you.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to get, third grade with it. I think it's just genuine. Like, and again, it's not going to be totally reciprocal. But I'm saying, like, if you're good to people, they're generally back good to you. You know what I mean? So if you just do what, if you try to be accommodating in your relationship, guess what? They'll be accommodating. You know what I mean? Like, that simple. Easy breezy cover girl. You know what I mean?
yeah, I like that. It's easy to say, harder to do.
Well, all right, it can be done, and you should try doing it more often to the
Nobody,
guys
I don't
listening because
disagree. I agree with you 100%. I do. But in today's society, those are the type of guys that does that shit are more common than you think.
well, no,
Way
I know
more
they're more
common.
common. That's why I'm saying this. I know
Yeah,
how
but
common they are, and they need to be less
you
common.
realize that I've been going to clubs for 20 years.
Sure.
And I've seen how I first went, it's way how when you go to a club, you pick up women easy. And now I go to a club now and I feel like I see them, everybody just wall hugging. It's easy. I see more people nowadays on their phone bullshitting. I've seen people on dating apps while they're at the clubs.
Sure.
So I
And what
see
does that do
why
there?
today's society does this because all these motherfuckers have low self-esteem and not gonna go just man up and ask or communicate. It's
But
just
you
not
can still
happening.
communicate on your phone. You don't have to do it in person.
If I'm doing it on the phone, it's because I don't have balls enough to go do it in person. I can
It
literally
is.
go outside down the street right now, hit the nightclub, meet bitches, but I choose to stay home and scroll left and right, just saying, "Hey, what's up? How's your night going?"
I
I'm
suppose.
like,
I don't know what to tell you. I think that we can do better.
I agree with you. And you know how we're gonna do that?
How?
First step, me and you watch the girl get pounded 1,000 times.
I don't know how that would be the first step, but we gotta come up with the step for certain because we should do better.
Interesting stuff, guys. Well, you all killed it. Thank you for another great edition of Productive Conversations. We'll see you next week with all the great content all over the place. And don't forget a Game 6 Knicks and Pistons reaction that dropped today, too, to see. All right. We'll see you all next week. All the love. Have a great weekend.
See ya.